What up, folks? I'm ULTRAZILLA, and this is my top 23 toys of 2023. That's right, my zillions. It is a brand new year, and Happy New Year to all of you. And like always, we start the year here by looking back at last year's toys with a best of list. The top 23 toys of 2023. And now, top, best, it's all subjective, guys. These are my favorite toys that came out last year for one reason or another. And there's going to be a lot of different things we're going to look at here. Like I always say, diversify your collection. And this list kind of epitomizes that. We got all kinds of awesome robots, kaiju, and all kinds of other stuff here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot to look at. 23 plus toys. I don't do honorable mentions, but I do some spots where more than one toy for one reason or another got into that spot. So you'll see. But I got two ground rules before we get into it that I need to let you know. First up, I needed to review the toy in the calendar year. So if I reviewed it in 2023 and it was a new toy, it was eligible. Now, little caveat to that new toy is that I now have a rule called Nebulous December. Meaning that if a toy came out in December and I didn't get it, it is eligible for the following year. Now, that could be for any number of reasons. My pre-order wasn't where it, dropped. Some places get things earlier. Overseas stuff, Japan, China, they get stuff earlier. Sometimes I can't get my hands on it. Too late in the year, it won't ship in time. Again, my pre-order might be somewhere else. Also, it's December, it's Christmas time. There's not as much funds available for myself. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta spread the love a little bit. I've decided December releases are gonna be nebulous. Like, if I get them, if I'm able to acquire them, subject to me acquiring them, and I review them, again, first rule, then they're eligible to be on this list. So there's gonna be some stuff here that just came out in December that I wasn't able to get my hands on. Obviously not able to review it, so they'll be eligible for next year. There's nothing from the year prior on this list, just to let you know, because I was good. I was good with last year's best of list. So we are all good there. That's the only things you have to know. Now let's get to the top 23 toys of 2023. So number 23 is the just reviewed Hiya Toys Burning Godzilla 2019. If you watch this review, I was on the fence about it. I had a chance. But, as I thought about it for the last day, I'm like, this thing is pretty cool. I do like it enough to make the list. And I really did want something from Hiya on the list. And this is my only Hiya inclusion, guys. It is, because if you've watched my Hiya reviews this year, you guys know I wasn't quite on board as much as I was last year, where it made my tops of the year. It was my top figure of the year, the 2021, the GVK one, the first edition. So, I've had some disappointing experiences with Hiya's figures this year, and in stark contrast to other people. It is what it is, like, I can only like what I like. You guys could only like what you like. This is my list, but it does make the list at number 23. Next up at number 22, let's give it up to the McFarlane Pacific Rim line. That's right, my zillions. I covered this entire line from the end of November till now. Just reviewed these guys last week. These are the starter set, the Amazon exclusive starter set, which I'm having here as a representative of the line. But I would like to, shout out the entire line. This while this figure set, yes, went above and beyond all of them, I feel like they are accepting this award for the entire line, because it's really a cool line, one that I've really enjoyed covering in the last month, and one I think a lot of folks have enjoyed checking out as well. So hopefully a lot more people will get on board of these and show McFarlane that we want more Pacific Rim toys, because these turned out great. Number 21 is the DST Monster Girl set. Boy, did this figure set surprise me. From not wanting to, not really thinking about reviewing it at all, to saying, okay, sure, I'll review this. Yeah, look at this. This is amazing. I really loved the alternate form of Monster Girl here, the giant alien monster guy. Really awesome. You know what, though? The static little figure, and not completely static, has a little articulation of Monster Girl in her human form. Like, looks really cool, too, from the show Invincible, of course. Very, very nice set. I really, really dug this. It's really awesome. Again, this huge, awesome figure is well worth it, and one I'm glad I got to review because it is awesome. Big shout out to DST for all you do for the channel. Been a very cool year once again covering your stuff, and this is definitely awesome and representative of the company here. And speaking of companies that were very well represented and treated me very well this year as well, is Super 7, and here we have at number 20, SpongeBob SquarePants, another figure that I just reviewed this year, and one that ULTRAZILLA Jr. insisted make my list, because even though we were like having some problems with like some of these spots being orange instead of green, ULTRAZILLA Jr. went back and checked, and he thinks a lot of more of the close-up shots do have orange on the show, so this figure is all good now, he says. And you know what? I agree. This figure is really a lot of fun. I smile every time I look at it, and that's the type of figure that makes the list. Had I reviewed this even earlier in the year, I think this would have made it higher, because he would have been here like longer, and it's just, it's just a joy. It really is. It's just a joy to play around with. So there you go, SpongeBob, number 20. Next up on the list is the first of many Transformers to have made the list. 2023 was the year I really got back into a lot of Transformers reviews for the channel. I have been saying that for a few years, that I really need to cover even more Transformers than I had been, because it's such a huge love of mine. And I'm glad to say I feel like I really stepped back into the swing of things with Transformers in 2023. And this one in particular has a special place in my heart. This is G1 Hound, re-released in 1986 colors. And it's very special to me because the original version of this was my first ever Transformer. And not only that, it was purchased for me by my aunt who passed away in 2023. So to say that this figure means a lot coming out last year is an understatement. It's been by my desk since release. Like, I always just look at it, reflect, and I'm glad this was re-released, and I knew it had to be on this list somewhere, because, that's what this stuff is about. It's not just awesome figure. Sometimes, it's about a feeling as well, and Hound will always have a special place in my heart. At number 18, we have the Super 7 Godzilla 1989. That's right, my zillions. This was a controversial figure for the channel this year, because apparently I'm not allowed to like what other people do not like. Well, you know what? It's made my list, and it's because I genuinely like this figure. It is a very cool Godzilla. It is a throwback. Super 7 does very toyetic figures. I said that from day one, and I'm glad since these came out, there's been a lot of folks that have come out and, you know, professed their love for them, because they're awesome. They are huge, chunky figures, and that is cool, and they are well worth their price point. I know a lot of folks have poo-pooed on the price, but are you kidding? This figure is huge. All the Super 7 figures come with a lot of stuff. Yeah, you know what? They do have issues, but, you know, I think they're well worth it, especially if it's something you like Godzilla. You know, well worth it. This is the representative of the line of the Toho Ultimates. This is the one that made my list because it was the first one, and, you know, it kind of means a lot to me. I went to bat for this figure, like, huge, and I wanted to make sure it was represented right. Rise of the Beast produced a lot of really fun figures this year, but none were as awesome, in my opinion, as the Takara DX style Optimus Primal. This is the big, huge Optimus Primal that went when nothing else. Takara was just like, you know what, Hasbro, let us take a stab at doing like a classic Japanese style toy for one of these, and Optimus Primal is what they picked, and I'm glad they did, because it is fantastic. It has all kinds of gimmicks, from the arms popping up, which I can't remember how to do right now. Oh, there we go. You know, classic Optimus Primal stuff. We have, like, missiles that fired out of there. You know, it transforms. It has awesome ratchet joints somewhere. It does. It's just a big, chunky, awesome figure. It looks the part. It also, like, reminds me of, like, old Optimus Primal figures, so it's got that going for him. He's got these, like, cool, like, swords with orange in them. I don't know, guys. This figure is just cool, in my opinion. I love, like, these type of toys, gimmick, DX toys, and, I mean, look. When this came out, and I did the review, I was just like, this might be, you know, toy of the year. That's how many cool toys came out after this. But it still had to be on this list because it's just so awesome. At number 16, another controversial figure. It is the SHMA Godzilla -1. This thing, to me, is really awesome. I love this sculpt. It is amazing. Yes, paint varies from figure to figure. Some turn out better than others. I didn't, 100% love how the paint job turned out on mine, but I didn't hate it either. Had I loved the paint job, it would have been higher on the list, because I think this sculpt is pretty fantastic in my opinion. But, it is what it is. I still really liked it, and I still really wanted it to make the list. It was either this or the Nightcrawler Godzilla 2019, and I know a lot of, or is that 2021? 2019, I believe. A lot of folks hated that one, and I really liked that one as well. It was on the cusp of making it, but I decided, let's go with the new sculpt. Let's go with the new controversial one, and not the older controversial one, because, again, new sculpt. Godzilla -1 was such a fantastic movie, so I really felt like this was the one to get on the list of the two if they were battling for the position. It's not the only monster arts on this list, so don't you worry about it. But this figure to me is pretty awesome. We're gonna keep it in the Tamashii family for number 15 with the SH Figure Arts Indiana Jones. Boy, was I looking forward to getting an Indiana Jones figure this year. Like, there was a few to choose from, but I chose SHF, and they did not disappoint. The likeness is great, the accessories were great. In a year where we got the last Indiana Jones movie, it is amazing to have a figure like this to come out. Just like Godzilla -1, and how the movie, like, kind of upped the figure for me. Same thing with the last Indiana Jones movie and this figure. Like, it definitely goes hand in hand. It definitely is very year specific. So it's very cool to have. This is a Raiders of the Lost Ark figure, of course, but still, that's just kind of like, you know, the best Indiana Jones movie, right? Well, Last Crusade, right? But man, the new movie was really good, and this figure is really good, and I'm glad to have it on the list. Next, we have a brand new figure from a brand new company, and this was the YOLO Park Bumblebee from Rise of the Beast. And I think I said that, you know, that Primal was the only Rise of the Beast figure, but, you know, I don't know, B in my head, not Rise of the Beast. He's more just like the Transformers movie universe, like icon, even more so than Optimus in a way. You know, when you think of the movies, you think of Bumblebee, and he's one of my favorite characters to come out of the movies for sure. I didn't love Bumblebee before the movies, and I love this version of Bumblebee. It's awesome, and I really like this. It was a figure kit, you know, it was like a Build-A-Figure, if you saw my YOLO Park reviews of the 3 figures that I did. And they're awesome. They're really, really cool, but I like B the best. It was the first one I did, and I liked it the best of the 3. It just looks fantastic. It poses amazing. It doesn't transform, and that's so good. I don't know. I just really like this B. It's just awesome. You know, very good job. Definitely looking forward to getting more YOLO Park. I know a few new things came out recently. I didn't get them, but I do plan on getting some more YOLO Park in 2024. But this B making the list was definitely a thing that needed to happen. Next up, we got a sort of a tie, because you know what? I couldn't decide between the two, so I put them both in. We got the Bandai DX Earth Garon, and we got the SHF Earth Garon. Both are really awesome representations of this character. You know, same company, different divisions. I think I could put them together. They both do something a little bit different, and they're both very, very awesome. This one has lights and sounds. This one has amazing articulation and paint. You know, just very, very cool things. And you know, this one's got like the more berserk eyes. And this one has the gun pack. They are very, very similar but different, and different enough that I'm happy to have them both in the collection, happy to have them both in the spot together. And they're kind of high up. We're almost to the top 10 here, and that's how cool this character is. Brand new character though, but still really made an impression on me as a armored kaiju. So very good. Either way you go, you're gonna get a great figure. Definitely like recommend getting these guys though. They're just quite great. We have another big chunky transformer at number 12, and that is the Studio Series Ultra Magnus. This figure is quite good. The only thing that keeps it from being higher is I do have just a slight bit of like looseness in the legs, and you know, the arms popping out like that from the back thing there, like you know, it could have been better there, but otherwise, looks-wise, this thing is awesome. I really like the transformation on this. It is a really awesome, huge representation of Ultra Magnus, which to me is quite perfect in that regard. So, very nicely done. It's a really clean figure. I really personally like that a lot. So, yeah, this is an amazing figure. It could have been top 10 though, but had it, you know, not had those couple of issues that I deem issues. But and it also has some really cool gimmicks too. But man, this is a nice looking figure either way. At number 11, we got another double. It is a set though to me, because you can't have one without the other, and that is the NECA Dinosaurs Earl and Baby Sinclair. These figures are awesome. NECA knocked these out of the park. They are so nostalgic, and I wasn't even the biggest Dinosaurs guy back in the day, but from the moment they announced these, I knew I had to have them. They just look so good. And it made me go back and watch some of the episodes, most of it, and it's really good. It was a lot better than I thought back then, honestly. But these figures are fantastic. Lots of great accessories. The sculpt is just amazing on both figures. It's just like evokes so much fun, like the SpongeBob figure, you know, like just looking at them makes me smile. Just very, very nice stuff here by NECA. I really, really love it. And I gotta say, like, ever since the Godzilla license, like, ended, anytime I've gotten a figure from NECA since, and I don't get as many as I used to, It's usually just a really great figure, and that's very awesome to say. So kudos to NECA on these. Highly recommend them and deserve it of this spot here. Top 10. That's right, we've made it to the 10 best. But you know what? It's kind of like 12 best, 13 best, whatever. Because at number 10, we have 3 chunky figures, and it's the Super 7 MMPR Ultimates, T-Rex Zord, Dragon Zord, and Megazord, the Zord collection. As I look at these big chunky figures, how can you deny them? They are so awesome. I felt like I just needed to put them together. I could have done them individually, but, you know, I wanted to give those spots to other things. And these are just great. They are from the amazing missile finger accessories, which has to be the coolest accessory that Super 7 has ever done. Really awesome. Love it. Made this figure. It made this figure. And yes, there is a black and gold version of this, but he doesn't have the missile figure, so it doesn't make my list quite like these guys. The T-Rex Zord, which, you know, honestly, during the review, I had a few issues with it, but it's grown on me more than any other figure has grown on me this year. I love this T-Rex Zord now. And the just reviewed Megazord, the final review of 2023, had a couple of imperfections, but this is such a great representation of the suit in the show, and we really don't have much of that. I certainly do not have one that is show accurate as this in my collection, so this was awesome to get, and I just felt like, you know, having them together was a great idea, you know what I'm saying? Give some spots to other deserving toys, and let's give these guys their due at number 10. It's time for some space chicken action with Gigan from SHMA Godzilla. This figure is awesome. I don't want to hear it. This figure is incredible. This is such a perfect representation of Gigan. It is so cool. The paint is exquisite. You know, like, folks were complaining about the sails. I had no problem with the sails. This moves in the middle. How cool is this? This is such a good-looking Gigan figure. It really surprised me because I had low expectations after I heard some bad things about it. And from low expectations to number 9 on my list, yeah, sometimes figures do that. And that's why, you know, individual results do matter, because, you know, who knows what other people think, and who cares, because I think this figure is incredible. SpongeBob, Dinosaurs, and now Alf at number 8. That's right, it's like a little trilogy of fun figures that came out this year, with Alf being the first of these, and came out like early this year. This figure is awesome. I absolutely love it. I've loved it all year. It just makes me smile every time. What a fantastic sculpt. Very faithful to the source material. Just a really fantastically done figure. It had a lot of cool accessories. I loved it. I really did, and I still do. It's so cool. What a fantastic job, honestly, NECA. You should be proud of yourself for this one. This is great. Again, like Dinosaurs, Alpha wasn't a show that I was like super into when I was young, but man, like, how can you not want to get a figure that looks quite like this, especially if you're a child of this time, which I was. You know, like, man, this is so good. So good. And yeah, I mean, top 10 list, it is. It works in the top 10 for me. Definitely. Number 8. At number 7, we have the Mezco Ultraman. That's right, finally this figure came out, and finally, I'm glad to report it was really good. I liked it a lot. I love the soft goods on it. It really is awesome. You got the light up gimmick, got the awesome mantle, you know, like, it just looks fantastic. It's a really nice looking figure. I didn't really get that much Mezco this year. I did get some of the 5-point stuff, and this guy, and was that it? I can't even recall anything else. But this is incredible. It's awesome. It exceeded my expectations, honestly. Just a really nice looking figure that I really haven't shown too much since the review. He hasn't like shown up in like size comparisons like a lot of other figures do. He's just kind of bided his time till the best of the year to say, hey, don't forget about me. And boy, did I not, because it is quite a great figure. At number 6, we have the 3-0 Robo-Doo Voltron. This is a really great piece, a really nice Voltron. You guys know if there's a Voltron that comes out during a year, it's gonna make my tops of the year, and usually pretty high. And this is pretty high at number 6. It could have been even higher though, but I have to say, I did have an issue with this figure. Not this particular one, but because this is the replacement. I did get an initial one where it did have trouble with the arms going in, but they replaced the figure, and it did start a little relationship with 3-0 for a while, and they did produce a lot of really great figures this year. Couple of which, you know, I eliminated right before we got this started. But, you know, Voltron still turned out really awesome at the end of the day. Really good. But, you know, it dropped a little bit because of the issue I did have to begin with. And, you know, I can't shy away from talking about that when we do something like this, because it factors in. It has to factor in. But overall, this is a really nice Voltron toy. At number 5, we have the SHMA Gamera Rebirth. You knew this was going to be high on this list. I absolutely adore this figure. I loved the show. I thought it was great. And just like a few other pieces on this list, it is really buoyed by both having a really awesome figure and the show. This one all the way to number 5 because, man, I'm just such a Gamera mark. And they did a really good job with this figure. It is very heroic feeling. It really captures the show well. Yeah, man, I just love it. It's such a great sculpt. I think it moves really well. The option pieces to turn it into the flying form are actually really good. So this is a fantastic release. The best release from SH Monster Arts this year was Gamera Rebirth. Super 7 was very well represented on this list, and the top Super 7 figure for me this year was the Super 7 Ultimates Transformers Grimlock. Look at this huge chunk of figure. This figure is bigger than all of those Zords, bigger than all of the Godzilla figures. I'm just blown away by the size of this figure. But you know what? They all scale together with the rest of the Transformers from the Ultimates line, and that is really cool. This is fantastic. This is the best figure that they've produced, hands down, this year, and the best of their Transformers line, the best of any line, I think, so far. What a fantastic job. I mean, it looks like it stepped right off the screen. That is fantastic. Look at this guy. Plus he comes with a lot of fun accessories like all Super 7 Ultimates do. This is a fantastic figure. This is absolutely amazing. I love Grimlock. You guys know I love Grimlock. Yeah, number 4, easily, for me, was the Super 7 representation of it. Number 3 is the Soul of Chogokin, Kiryu. Oh my zillions, this figure is quite awesome. Look at this. It's got die cast. It's a Soul of Chogokin. My only Soul of Chogokin that I picked up this year. How crazy is that? I hope that you get back into Soul of Chogokin at some point, you know, but I'm glad I got this guy. Always loved Kiryu. I love Mecha Godzillas. And this was a great one. It really is. It's such a nice figure. Very well done. It had a couple of quirks, but for the most part, it is just phenomenal. I'd say the only reason it didn't go higher than even number 3 is because the top 2 were figures that I really wanted in my collection, and figures I didn't have a real representation of in my collection, and I have like a million Kiryus that kind of like behind me here. So that was like the only thing, you know, against this figure was, I'm kind of good with Kiryus, but this was the ultimate Kiryu for sure. Number 2 is the HasLab Transformers Deathsaurus. Easily could have been number 1. When I did this review, I thought, you know what, this is number 1. This has gotta be number 1. But when I reviewed everything, I was like, you know what, I think number 2. And there's reasons for that. I'll get to that in a second. But man, kudos to this. Kudos to the Transformers team. You put out an amazing HasLab here. This is way better than Victory Saber was last year. It is just phenomenal. This robot mode is absolutely incredible. One of the coolest super robots in my collection now. Just look at this guy. Look at that chrome. I love it. The wings, this giant sword comes with a lot of other awesome weapons. The accessories are great. From the throne to the other Transformers. Then you got the alt mode of Space Chicken, which is awesome in its own right. The flight stand, everything is incredible. Objectively, this is probably the best figure of this year. I don't like to use objectively, but technically, probably the best thing of the year. The only thing that kept it from not being number 1 was Deathsaurus isn't a character that's like near and dear to my heart. It is a character I absolutely wanted for sure in the collection. Like a no-brainer when this got announced as the HasLab. I was like, yeah, I have to have that. But near and dear to my heart? No. But it is quite amazing. And number 1, Armada Optimus Prime. You knew if it wasn't Deathsaurus, and if you follow this channel like you should, and not just watch one type of review, you were not going to be shocked that Armada Optimus Prime was number 1. I loved this figure so much. It is everything I've wanted in our Armada Optimus Prime. A version of Prime that's eluded me in a figure of like some sort of stature for the longest time. I just didn't have a proper representation. I have like a small little Takara figure. But that's it, like a little vinyl figure. And I've always loved this version, and this was one of my most anticipated releases of this year, and it blew me away, guys. It is so good. Yes, he had a lot of junk in the trunk. I did make that a little better from not like hanging all the way down his butt, which looks so ugly. Like I figured out how to like compact it into the back, gave him more of a backpack, but this figure is just so awesome either way. It is so cool, so heroic. What an amazing design. It really doesn't look like Optimus Prime at all, but it is. It's a Prime. It's Armada Prime, and it is. And it's not like the base mode of Optimus. There's a smaller Optimus in here. This is like the super mode. No, when you use that word super with Transformers, it does all the right things, especially when it's Optimus Prime, guys. Super Jinrai, super mode Optimus here from Armada Prime. Just amazing looking. Look at this. I love it. He is so cool, so heroic. Love this figure. I think it came out so good. So there you go. Number 1, without a doubt, is Armada Optimus Prime. I'm really happy with that decision, because like I said, Deathsaurus, when I reviewed it, I was just like, this is number 1, no doubt. But then when I put it together, and I put everything together, I'm like, nah, it doesn't do the same thing that Armada Optimus does for me. No other figure did what this one did for me this year, so I'm very happy with my choice. Number 1. And there you go, my Zillions, my top 23 plus toys of 2023. I think this list turned out pretty well. There's a lot of cool stuff here, a lot of diversity, like I always say, and I think just the order worked out very, very nicely for me personally. You know, there were some surprises. Like, as I did it, you know, things got omitted, things got added late in the year, and it's one of those things where right up until filming, you just never know what you're gonna add or subtract to it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really happy with it. I like the order. I stand by all of these toys, and there you go. Let me know your thoughts down below on my best of the year list. Let me know what was on your personal list for the year. And if you're new to the channel, why don't you go ahead and sub yourself for daily content and let me help you diversify your collection. Until next time, peace out.